Good morning to those of you in Europe and US and Europe, sorry, and good evening to those of you in Asia. Of course, this video like to do is on short notice, and this not really for but fire and ash, and this is about I'm going to review a movie that I just saw yesterday on TV, on Hits Movies, if you know what, in Malaysia. It's the late Diane Keaton movie called 1987 movie called Tiger Baby Boom, which I saw yesterday, and it's a comedy, but it's also tells about a story about how she became a parent to an orphan baby. And of course, if you have seen this movie, this is my first time seeing this movie to end at 2025. Before, maybe I might end it at the age of fire and ash. But this movie is a bit, like that, it's a bit simple. But okay, it starts about DC Watts. There's Diane Keaton's character, who is actually known as the Tiger Lady, and has a successful career, and of course she's having a boyfriend in downtown Manhattan, Steven, Steven something, played by Harry Ramis. I know this was a movie, just after the Ghostbusters success. So this story takes place, and they say they live together, have good careers, yeah, and they want children, of course. So the turning point in this movie is when Diane Keaton, J.C. Watts, received a phone call that her long lost cousin died. We don't know, they didn't show, we don't know how he died. Then show that say died and left something behind, inheritance for J.C. to inherit. So okay, he goes down to JFK, meet the persons. Actually, it's a lady. Meet the lady, and she thinks she has inherited $1 million or something, but she often inherits a baby girl named Elizabeth. Often baby girl named Elizabeth. So the story goes on. She finds out to take care of Elizabeth. Now things go on. She even put her up for adoption by the end. But her boyfriend Steve, who is an investment banker, don't want anything to do with it, so he leaves her. Then yeah, stop, and in a company, human comes up. She gets she finds out that the prodigy Ken is making her decisions without her. Because behind the team, he said she would have fruits, she don't want him, and on that kind of stuff going up and down. Then, in the final decision, she makes a decision. Then because he wants to reassign her to different position getting all that kind of stuff. Then she makes a final decision. She resigns, goes back to the to resign out. She goes back to home and bed, and she gets up buy a house in Vermont, and then they were she takes the Elizabeth to Vermont. He lives there with the housekeeper. Then a lot of things go on. Plans new things in the house got problems, all that. She wants to come back to New York. I mean, she even strapped out of cash. She was already on verge of collapse and all that kind of stuff. So she meets this guy, doctor. Actually, his name is Jeff. He's actually a veterinarian. So they don't get along first. Then he gets she wants to go back to New York or like New York. Yes. Then other things happen. So she started her own business to sell baby food because they came because of this. Elizabeth. So it goes on. He said the business is picking up. The food name is called Country Baby Sheep. The business picks up. Then she forms a romance with it. JC forms a romance with this veterinarian doctor, Jeff. So the thing starts picking up. So that's my very interesting part. She gets a phone call later, the night after the festival and all that. She gets a call. That's that Food Chains wants to buy a business. So, okay, that's a reaction here. We see Elizabeth's reaction. She's never happy, by a reaction. So, of course, she goes to a former company, and then the meeting, all that. And okay, cut this because it's quite long. So she wants, yeah. First thing maybe she might give the end in the back. She thinks she's going to get her old job back or that. That was fine. Then until she gets second thoughts. Of course she cannot. The second thoughts we know what is it. Then goes back in the room, and then she rejects the offer, turns down the offer. Then she goes back to mom. First goes and finds this Jeff. She goes to see Jeff this week. Then she goes there and says she's not all that. And in the end, when she comes back to her house, she little when she enters first, baby Elizabeth doesn't any there. She walks to the room. Okay, this is the finest already towards the end of the movie. Okay, this is what I like about. She turns this movie. Okay, of course in the above she don't. Okay, here's a bit reverse psychology. We go back. This time she walks in the room. Little Elizabeth is sitting on the floor playing. Turns around and calls her finally. Yeah, actually she calls her mama back in the airport. That one didn't make any sense for her yet. Then she called JC mama. Then we know the thing sit near the window where she carries her, takes her towards the window, sits on a rocking chair, and that's that. One thing I can tell you, this movie for me was very touching. It was very good movie. Like Diane Keaton did a very great job. The last was good, and unfortunately, what I want to tell you, what I really like, what interested in the movie other than Diane Keaton was maybe from me, from my perspective, I like how Elizabeth, the baby girl, the Elizabeth, showed JC that there's something to love in the from a family relationship. She wants that JC to love her. And I say I give this movie about roughly a 9. It came out in 1987, was born in 1989. So, yeah, so you don't, because I grew up in the 90s. But overall, I give it a 9 out of 10. It was very good, it was very satisfying, and it was a very good movie. So, so yeah, I'll see you again very soon. Bye.